Alright, it is time for a new Azurelands playthrough. So, someone asked me to play Gage on Borderlands 2.5, but Gage in Azurelands is the exact same, but this is a more up-to-date mod pack with a bunch of other fun stuff in it, and I did like Azurelands last time I played, so we are specifically playing Gage in Azurelands 2, but she still has her 2.5 skill tree. Now, right off the bat, whenever you summon Death Trap, you can start building up stacks of delinquency. So to get a stack, you either have to deal a crit, a DOT, or just outright kill an enemy, and these improve Death Trap's duration, and then it also provides buffs to other skills depending on the skill, and then also, Death Trap inherently gets a copy of your shield. So if you wanted to run a melee shield early, you would actually greatly benefit from it. I've already read the skill trees, and there is a lot of stuff, so we're just going to briefly cover everything to not make this last 10 minutes again. With the blue tree, if you have a skill 5 out of 5, you get 5% more shock damage. So that's pretty cool. That's a nice little thing just for that. So we have Unstoppable Force here. If you get a kill, you get health regen for you and your teammates. We have increased elemental resistance and dot duration resistance per stack of delinquency. So every time that we get a stack here, this skill will give us more DOT duration resist, so we'll take less DOT overall. We have charged shot here, which is like interspersed outburst. So this will give us increased damage based on how long it's been since the last time we fired. So with bullets, it'll be an extra 10x damage. With rockets, it'll be 5x damage. And then also, every single 1 out of 1 skill does provide cooldown for Death Trap as well. Meaning if we got all of them, we could have 90% cooldown rate on Death Trap. So that'd be super nice, alongside also like stats and skills and comms and relics and stuff. We have this skill, Maximum Effort. And basically, it will reduce your max health, but increase your damage. And then also, for every delinquency stack, it further enhances this effect, so it gives us even more damage and less max health. So this would be kind of nice. This could be used almost like a health gate kind of situation, where we have way less health to regen, and that would be pretty nice. We have Going Viral, which increases elemental effect chance and duration for everybody on your party. We have basically electrical burn here, so dealing a shock dot will cause a fire dot sometimes. We've got Rebellious Rage, which increases grenade damage on kill. We have Neural Network, which basically causes the shock storms to spawn. So basically like the normal shock storm skill, get a headshot, cause shock AoEs, pretty much. We've also got a kill skill that increases our status effect damage based on the amount of delinquency stacks that we have. We have Torrid, which as our health gets lower, we deal more elemental damage. And then we have Make It Sparkle, which is relatively the same, except for if Death Trap or us deal shock damage, it will spawn a shock storm. And then also, the more delinquency stacks that we have, the more bonus damage Death Trap and that storm will deal. So this is a lot of stuff to keep track of, and that's just one tree. Now, for right tree, we have Malleable Magazine, where basically the more full a gun is, the more damage it does, and the less full a gun is, the more fire rate it has. So this is just a weird little thing where our first bullet will deal 25% more damage at 5 out of 5, and then towards the end of our magazine, it'll be like 5%, maybe like 0%, but our fire rate will be kicked up to 25%. So it's just sort of a give and take thing there. Also, for every 5 points out of 5 we have in this skill tree, we get more swap speed, so that's a thing too. This skill is called At Everyone, and basically it is the close enough skill and int degree put together. So if we hit an enemy, it has a chance to reflect. If we hit a wall, it has a chance to reflect. It is severely reduced with this skill, but it provides both. So it's kind of okay that it's like that. And then here we have gun hacks, where basically, dependent on the element of our weapon, we get a bonus effect. So if we hold a shock weapon, we get movement speed, fire is fire rate, explosive is reload speed, corrosive is dot duration, slag is damage res, and then normal is just a flat bonus damage buff. And then it also appears that it does just overall buff their damages by 10% as a given. Now from here, we have a kill skill that provides reload, mag size, and ammo regen. So that's pretty cool. We've got Prodigy, which increases dot chance, critical damage, reload speed, and shield recharge rate. We've got this skill right here, which increases gun damage but reduces accuracy and adds recoil. We've got this skill right here, which basically combines shock and awe with the laser ability that Death Trap has. So Death Trap will get an explosive damage version of a laser, and then we will also get shock and awe, but it will deal explosive damage instead of the shock. I don't know if I'll spec this because reloading near barrels is kind of spooky with it, but we have this, and we also get increased damage with it based on our delinquency stacks. So that is another reason to stack up delinquency, which we will just naturally playing Death Trap. We have supercharged mags here, which when your magazine is past half empty, you get extra bullet speed, critical damage, and accuracy. We've got nihilistic bullets, which is nth degree except for instead of reflecting, it makes you shoot an additional projectile with no ammo cost. We've got spray and pray, where the lower our health is, the higher our fire rate gets. And then we've got anarchy. Now, Anarchy acts differently. Basically, every 30 seconds, whenever you deal damage, it will roll anywhere from a 1 to a 10. And based on that, you will either get bonuses to fire rate, movement speed, and reload speed, or accuracy, damage, and mag size. So that's pretty cool too, and it also provides a little bit of swap speed. And now we have Left Tree. In Left Tree, every 5 out of 5 gives Death Trap more health. This skill right here increases Death Trap's movement speed and damage output. This skill right here improves our shield recharge delay, shield recharge rate, and shield capacity for both of us while Death Trap is out. This is with claws, so it's pretty much just with claws like it normally is, except where it uses delinquency to give you more damage. So that is the thing we can use there. We've got a kill skill right here, which, while the kill skill is active, provides us a chance to ignore damage, which goes up to 25% chance at 5 out of 5, maybe 50 if it has a 10 out of 5 class mod, which would be super cool to see. We've got a skill right here, which just provides us a flat damage reduction against all damage types, and then it also provides more damage reduction based on the stacks of delinquency that we have once again. We've got Turtle Power right here, which increases max health and shield, and this value is also shared with your teammates, and it looks like it increases based on the amount of players in your party as well. So if you're in a team, this should provide even more health and shield. And then right here, we have Magnetic Personality, which is basically just Explosive Clap, except for it does a singularity, so it pulls enemies in instead of blowing them away. And then it also provides a chance for Death Trap to reflect bullets, because he needs to be able to do that. And then those bullets deal more damage based on your delinquency stacks, so another delinquency stack thing. We've got Auxiliary Aegis, which basically buffs Nova shields in general. We've got Supercharged Systems, which buffs Spike shields and Amp shields. We've got Instant Kill Mode, where Death Trap deals extra damage and gets health regen if you're in fight for your life, which is usually bad, but at 5 out of 5 it does give him double damage, so that could be super duper strong and get us out of fight for your life, which is kind of cool. And then finally we've got Robot Rampage, which basically is Beyblade Death Trap, so it's pretty much that normal skill. And then also, anytime we get a kill, crit, or a dot or a melee attack on an enemy, we get more delinquency stacks sometimes. So that's just another cool thing there. And that's all of the skills. There's too much stuff. We're just going to play the game and see how she feels and learn how the skill trees interact with stuff as we go. Yeah, this is one of those things where I say I'm not going to sit there and try to read the skill trees for like 10 minutes. But there's just so many things, and I know that some people are interested in what the skill builds are going to be like, and they like to hypothesize before we even get into it. Now, me, myself, I would love to see a melee build early, so I'm going to try to spec melee. I don't know if that's a good idea, because we don't have a lot of outright damage buffs outside of with claws, but that would be cool if we could do that. Alright, and before we go forward into the base game, I am going to try to get a little bit of XP here and try to get Death Trap early. So hopefully we can hit level 5 or level 6 off of like a rabbit enemy or something here. That would be nice. Right, cool. Level 6. So we'll go ahead and spec that right there. And I had, you know, yeah, so many options, you know? I guess we'll go ahead and go down left tree, because I do want to test out that melee. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and try to test out the stacks of delinquency here. So summon Death Trap. So we have 2 stacks. We have 4 stacks. Okay, so these are pretty easy to get. And then they take a really long time to go away. So that is pretty nice. I was kind of questioning how long they last. So this feels long, like really long. So I'm kind of here for that. And then as we can see here, every time we score that crit and get an extra stack, we are increasing Death Trap's out time just by a little bit, not by much. But it sure is nice to see. Oh. A Guardian. Okay. Regenerates assault rifle ammo based on a percentage of max ammo. High damage and fire rate. Okay, that's kind of cool. I don't know if this was good or if we even tested this last time we played, but it is nice that we have this. And then also he dropped the cricket, which is the hornet. So that means we probably did just get a roll drop alongside the dedicated, which is pretty cool. Also, I guess real quick to show these off, the Guardian pretty much fires pretty normal, it's just the ammo regen is like the specialty of it. And then the Hornet, which is now the Cricket, basically is the same, just with a larger splash. Right, Death Trap is out. Okay, the Guardian might be a little bit strong this early on. And then also, we did pick up a shield along the way, and we can see he does in fact have it on. Once again, I would prefer a melee shield, but any shield is a shield at this point in the game, so that's totally okay. Alright, let's test out the cricket a little bit here. And yeah, it's early game, so having a legendary at all is just going to feel really, really strong. So this totally makes sense. Yeah, the damage on this Guardian doesn't seem too crazy high. He just murdered that man. Okay. But yeah, it doesn't seem too insanely high. But it is totally understandable. This is definitely like a nice early game weapon to have, since it does have that ammo regen. You don't really have to like worry about finding any. Oh, hey. Alright, cool. We got our first melee shield here. So that's pretty cool. A little bit of extra bonus damage for Death Trap there. And another skill point into the tree. Okay, so first class mod here. Pretty interesting that it has reload speed and ammo regen on it. It's kind of nice that you can get ammo regen on other classes than Sal, though. So that is pretty nice. Alright, let's see. Yep, Death Trap stays out like normal. His mere presence was enough. He just killed a man by existing. Okay, I don't know how he caused that, but I'm down with it. Alright, visually this might suck a little bit, just as a warning. And yeah, no problem. So, I gotta be honest, I'm a little bit confused about where Death Trap is getting this funny shock AoE from. Because I don't see anything about it here. And this skill definitely doesn't give it either. So I'm thinking that it's one of the other skills is triggering early, which is weird, but that might not be it. I'm not really sure. Alright, and the last go is the Marita. And it shoots little railgun rails, basically. It's alright. It's kind of probably a little weaker than it normally is with this version of it. But either way, it's low-level content, and it's basically just a let's go, so it's okay. Right, cool. Level 10. So, yeah, this is a 1 out of 1 with claws here. So once we get that, I would really love to start doing melee. And I'm glad that it's available so early on so that we can, like, test it out, basically. Since we are here at Bloodshot, we are going to go ahead and farm a little bit of XP. Just enough to, you know, be able to push forward without, like, getting farmed. Alright, cool. We are level 11, so we can go ahead and put our point here into with claws. And, yep, with the way that the mod works, you can go ahead and just start working down the tree from here. So, this is super nice because it means that we don't have to get this skill that reduces our shield recharge delay and buffs the recharge rate. Since we are running a melee shield, that is great because we can just ignore like that with this, which is super cool. Hey, the Ramos. Okay, so we've gotten this guy before. Provides high damage res, but reduces your movement speed, high fire rate and mag size, and a low reload speed. So yeah, basically while you hold it, you are reduced to like half movement speed, maybe even less. And then you just take a lot less damage while you're holding it. I didn't personally feel like this was strong enough whenever we played last, but we can try it again just to see out of curiosity if it's better. So yeah, real quick, we'll come inside from our XP farm. And we'll just kind of like shoot guys. Now, they are armored, so they are going to resist this damage. So they're not really going to care about it. But you can see we're not taking much damage ourselves either. Which, in this difficulty is nice, but once we get into like UVHM, of course, damage reduction doesn't mean a whole lot. But for this difficulty, this is pretty nice. And then we also do have with claws, so we can go ahead and use that and deal a lot of damage already. That's really, really nice. So yeah, let's try that again real quick. Okay, so yeah, without the melee shield active, not nearly as much, but still, that's really darn good for just being one skill. Okay, so in this mod, there are agility relics, which will buff our movement speed and jump height. So that might be a good way to close the gap with our melee build. There aren't really a bunch of movement speed skills on this character, so if we do want to try melee, we are going to have to try to make up for it as best we can. So we can have this movement speed right here. There is one skill right here, where if you're holding a shock weapon, you move 30% faster, so that's a benefit too. And then also, there is the fact that in this mod, weapon parts, specifically from Vladov, will make you move faster as well. So we could get a Vladov shock weapon, and that would make us move substantially faster. And that's probably what we'll end up doing with the rapier, pretty much. Alright, cool. Level 12. We'll probably just push level 13, and then we'll go do Bloodshot. So we do have a nice little cooldown rate and death trap melee damage class mod here. And it buffs this skill right here, which basically for every stack of delinquency we have, we wipe damage over time effects faster. And we also just have a flat elemental damage resistance, which is cool. And then there's also this skill right here, which passively buffs our resistance as well. So that plus that, and then if we also ran Firewall for the chance to just ignore damage, could be really, really dumb. So we might do that. Wow. Okay, so we have a shotgun with the XX prefix, and that man is gone. Oh, he gave us XP too. Cool. So yeah, this is a BL1 prefix put into BL2. Probably a little bit stronger than it needs to be, but it provides a bunch of knockback, which is cool. Alright, cool. Level 13. Alright, cool. So since we're level 13, let's go ahead and try to push Bloodshot. And by try, I mean probably absolutely decimate Bloodshot. Realistically. Right, we've got a fun gun here. So, the gimmick with this gun right here, the Hawkeye, Mike's Hawkeye specifically, is that it deals a bunch of crit damage, but while you're holding it, you take more damage. So, while you might one-tap people, or two-tap, because this character isn't built for guns quite yet, you still, can take a lot of damage. So it's kind of like a give and take there. Now, one thing we can never do on this character is wear a Love Thumper, because if we want Death Trap and literally any skills, he would also wear one. So that's just a single shield out of the many, many melee shields we have to avoid, which still sucks because it's like one of the more fun ones, but at the same time, it's not a big loss. Alright, cool. We got Roland. We're going to go ahead and put the skill point in real quick. So I'm really curious to see if this character will end up being really, really tanky. And we did cover a lot today, so this will probably go ahead and be where we stop. I'll travel to Sanctuary real quick, but I think next time, the main thing I really, really want to do is try to get a Shock Rapier. I want to get a couple points into this tree so that we can get the movement speed here. And then we also want to try to get as many Vladoff parts on that rapier as possible, because it does buff movement speed per Vladoff part on a weapon. So we really want that, just to kind of see how fast we can move. And then from there, I mean, it's just going to be forward progress. We're going to try to just run melee for a while, I would imagine. And then maybe we'll spec into other stuff and see how they play, especially if the melee starts to drop off. I kind of doubt it will, but maybe like late UVHM it drops off and we need a new thing. So yeah, that'll go ahead and do it for day 1.